welcome back. And if you tune in late, my special guest is Stacy Shae, and she is a wife and a mother, and she is also president of Adamantine Alliance, which is a company that she and her retired Navy SEAL husband started. And they live in the upstate, and she's the mother of 3 children, and you are one busy lady, I know. And, you know, I'm just fascinated with this book. And if we ever needed to pull back and get leadership in this country and strengthen our military and support our military, regardless of whether it's Navy, whatever, we need it now. And I'm grateful to you for what you're doing. And tell me about, we've talked about a lot of things and about your husband. The Center for Self-Governing, what is it?
It's called the Center for Self-Governance, and it was a small group of extraordinary citizens in Tennessee started this nonprofit organization a few years ago, thinking that the people really needed to learn how to exercise their civic authority because the government has done things that I don't believe that the consent of the governed has been involved in recent times. And they wanted to have an impact and be involved and fulfill their responsibility as citizens. And they didn't know how, and they tried. And they found, like many of us, that their efforts left them fruitless and frustrated. So they developed a course that you can take that teaches you about the foundations of government and what role you play in it. When our country was founded, we founded a republic. And that was the famous line that Elizabeth Powell said, "What kind of country have you given us? What kind of government have you given us?" Yeah. And he said to her, "A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it." Yeah. And it's interesting to think about that sentence and that exchange because she was a woman during the time when our country was founded.
And women didn't vote
They didn't vote. She could, she didn't own property. She didn't employ people. So how was it that he expected her to keep the republic? And that's the essence of the teaching that they do, is that you have influence over your government, whether, I'm not saying that there's no expectation of us to vote. That's the lowest form of expectation that we are required to do as citizens. And citizens aren't even doing that enough. There's not enough people voting.
No, and I think what I think is that we have, here it is, I just happen to carry this with me, the Constitution of the United States.
So that's interesting. Let me see this for a moment.
I just carry it around. And the things that have been done recently are not allowed in our, if you abide by the Constitution, some of the things that have been done are in direct opposition to what their Constitution tells us we can do. But I just had to pull this out since you brought up what you did.
So all political power resides in the people.
It's in the people.
It's in the people.
Yeah.
And we don't really know how to do that.
So that's what this,
they teach
in Tennessee, these people started this.
Well, it's where it started. They're currently conducting training in.
Now, can anybody find out about it or join it, or does it cost a lot of money?
No, it's very affordable. There are 5 different levels of courses, and you learn the foundations of self-governance, beginning with Aristotle and Plato. It's a nonpartisan organization. It's completely educational.
So it isn't Democrat or Republican or independent. It's just put the facts out.
They truly want to equip the citizen to engage their legislature and politician and school board member and support them when you need to. Influence them to make decisions that are in the best interest of your family, your community, your country. Influence them, support them, hold them to account, see how they respond and react to different issues, and use that to help you join with your fellow citizens and guide these legislators and school board members to carry out your wishes. They work for you, not the other way around.
And so in other words, it helps us to be informed and to exercise
your civic
our freedom.
authority, your civic authority. And it's easy to say, excuse me, it's easy to say, all you have to do is exercise your rights. But I couldn't really explain to you what that would look like. How do you exercise your rights? How do you exercise your rights? It's kind of a trick question, I think.
Well, of course, most of us will say, well, we vote.
That's a very, very small way to do it. But to engage the people around you and to inform yourself, to inform your fellow citizen. And one of the other things I think that is lost on people, when a state legislator is elected in South Carolina, in 2 years they will have 5,000 bills come across their desk. And they don't have staff. They don't have anybody to help them with this. And if they dare make a wrong vote, we remember that. What we need is to support them and to help them, to influence them to do the things that we want them to do, the things that we've sent them to office to do, and to understand the needs that they have as well.
I just happened to keep this, and I'm going to read it now.
Okay.
Patrick Henry wrote these words. The liberties of a people never were nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. Patrick Henry. I just find little quotes and keep them. What do you think of that? We need to be informed.
We need to be informed. We absolutely do. We're all stakeholders here, but we've abdicated our responsibility to people we send to office. It's not all their job, it's our job to be engaged. So we've kind of gone about our business and thought it can't happen here in America. We have a government that prevents this from happening. And there's a lot of things that go on that I'm quite certain we're not, we haven't consented to.
No. Mm-mm. So this book is a story of courage. It's a story of training, of leadership. Now, when you speak, or your husband now, as a retired United States naval officer and a Navy SEAL, goes all over the country, and he works with what? Corporations, schools? How does this happen?
First of all, he wasn't an officer. He was enlisted. I just want to make sure I say that.
I didn't think you could become a SEAL. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not all SEALs are officers.
All
no.
right.
They're mostly enlisted. That's okay. How would you know? So, and yes, he goes around the country and provides training, mostly at the CEO level. So he works one-on-one in a pretty intense manner, delivering the training. Some of it is in the book, some of it is derived from other curriculum that we've written, some of it that he's written. And that's where we have found the most impact for any group that we work with. We also have add-on programs that will allow employees or staff to take part in some of the training. But what we have found is that if the head of an organization has a shift in their performance, and in the book, the term that we use is internal dialogue, and if they're able to master the 5 pyramids that we list here of human performance, that automatically creates a shift in the entire organization, and the people around him begin to function and perform differently.
So he works with corporations, with a vast array of companies and people. You work more in a local area.
Yeah, I do public speaking locally, and I speak with...
But I mean, you would go to surrounding areas,
yes,
like Asheville or...
Yep.
Within this area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you speak, say, what do you speak? I would think you'd be valuable to speak to any high school group.
Yeah. It's funny, we just returned from Boston where both of us spoke to 4 different high schools and a couple other groups. We did some radio and television interviews, and we did some book signings in that area. So yeah, I love speaking with organizations, and there's 2 things that typically are my messages that I like to share. One of them is the story of being married to a SEAL and what that's like. A lot of people are really interested in those stories. There's a lot of SEALs who are sharing their stories. There's a lot of books. What there's not a lot of is the flip side of that coin, where you hear or see or learn what's gone on with their spouses or their kids or their families. And it has a lot of curiosity for people. And I also speak about leadership and how what I've learned being married to someone who does something that's so important can apply to lessons of wives everywhere and anybody.
And so you are still available for,
Yes, ma'am,
you
I'm
would be
still
willing
available.
to speak at churches or high schools
Yep,
or
to
wherever.
companies, at meetings and other functions, absolutely.
So I think you're really doing a great work for this country.
Thank you so much.
When it's very, very much needed. And I want to show this cover again. I think we have, it's called Unbreakable, A Navy SEAL's Way of Life. It's a paperback. It's not an expensive, extraordinary, but it would make a wonderful gift, and especially for a young person. I just think you've done a phenomenal job, and I thank you for what you're willing to do for our young people and for this country. And God bless you and your husband.
Thank you so much.
You know, I just can't, I'm kind of in awe of you. God bless you.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you. And I will keep that information here, the website. If you didn't get it and you need it, we'll pass it on to you. And we just wish you a great day.